When we say that all things in the universe are the creative activity of God, this is really like putting legs on a snake or painting a reflection on a mirror. It is not to be compared to seeing that activity as it is, although we say that it is God's activity to draw attention to it in a particular way. But the trouble is that people spend so much energy looking for the God that they fail to see the activity, which is surely a sad state of affairs. What is this activity? The rivers flow, the flowers bloom, you walk down the street. Really, we should need to say no more than this, but it is sometimes called the activity of God to point out a certain understanding to the sort of person who might retort, the rivers flow, the flowers bloom, you walk down the street. So what? So what? Well, what else are you looking for? Here is someone who eats out the grocer's store and still complains that he is starving. But the word and concept of God, Brahman, Tao, or what you will, was really introduced for such unappreciative stomachs. It is a way of emphasizing actual life to draw attention to it in much the same way as we underline words or put them in italics. Thus, we call the universe the activity of God to induce the so whatter to pay some attention and reverence to it, because he always bolts his life instead of rolling it appreciatively around his tongue. He always thinks of the second and third pieces of cake while he's eaten the first, and thus is never satisfied with any of them, and ends up with a thoroughly disordered digestion. This is called the vicious circle of having lunch for breakfast, or living for your future, but tomorrow never comes. Just wanted to touch on this little essay. Again, Alan Watts, apologies, but there's so many essays that have been left unread or unheard of because they're locked in books and people don't read. The essay is called Tomorrow Never Comes. There's got a little bit more to it, and I'll read through it. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Zach Hampson Podcast. I am indeed Zach Hampson. Thank you for joining me once again. I'm looking forward to this. It's, as you read through it, it's so, you ever see that bell curve where people are kind of like, oh, life is just eating, drinking, living. Life is what it is. And then people up there is like, oh no, life has this, blah, blah, blah. And on the other side of the bell curve, people are just like, life is meaning. I don't know, probably explain that terribly. But it's an interesting essay because it touches on those people that are just these so what, divine thing. Let me just eat up, and not have this sort of reverence for it. It's interesting. Look, back to the book essay thing. The snow is falling on the windowsill. Is this the activity God? Maybe. But if anyone watches it in order to see God, he will surely be disappointed. No man hath seen God. No, and in looking for God he may fail to see the snow. Thou art Brahman. But if you look in yourself in order to find Brahman, you will be very disappointed indeed. Yet all this trouble has started because people have taken a simple device much too far. The idea of God is a finger pointing the way to reality. But when people try to join God and reality, to identify the one with the other, to find the former in the latter, they are trying to join together two things that were never in need of being joined. This is like trying to make the eyes see themselves. Yet, how do we arrive at the stair where to watch the snow falling is so much one with God that we need no more introduce God than put red paint on the roses? Whence all this hurry to arrive at a state? Are you not already watching the snow? Are you not already face to face with the eternal mystery? Take it easy for a while. Just watch the snow falling on the kettle boiling and not so much hurry. What's wrong with watching the snow or the kettle that anyone should want to arrive at a state? It is possible that an ordinary moron can do this just as well, and why not go him one better? How splendid is the ignorance! Like the stones, the grass, and the wind, he was an English enlightenment without knowing it, and cannot appreciate this good fortune. Yet he too is a so whatter, for he asks, so what? When others go questioning for God, he is not free to watch the snow because he can do nothing else, and especially because he does not appreciate his freedom. Isn't that so interesting to think, and I think it's exemplified now. Obviously, Alan probably wrote this, back in 70s, 80s, early 90s. Oh, no, he didn't even make it to that, did he? 70s, 80s, right? He probably wrote this, right? And I think it's been exemplified even more so now, right? Is that so many people are caught up in the distraction, in the search for the meaning, that they're missing the whole point, the whole thing in front of you. You know, we're so caught up in finding these. I mean, even more so nowadays, we're so caught up in the entertainment of things and trying to find that kick, that high, that thing, that distraction, whatever it is. We're trying to find that thing, and we're losing sight of the journey. We're trying to find. We're just trying to have destinations. We're just destination people. Just give me that destination. Give me that hit. I want that next thing, that next slide, the next reel, the next TikTok, the next thing. Give me that laugh, that adrenaline, that excitement, that ecstasy, that whatever it might be that you're looking for in that hit. Just give me the thing. I want the thing. I want the chorus without the rest of the song. I want the crescendo without the rest of the song, without the rest of the music. As if to listen to music, as if to listen to life or to live life, the whole point is to get to the end of the song. Right? How ridiculous would that be? Is that we just end up having these composers that are just composing to see who can get to the end of the song as quickly as possible, right? As if that was the point. We live in such a strange place if we did that. It'd be quite funny though. Just hear this one big bang, boom, and then that's it. That'd be pretty funny. Maybe that already exists. I don't know. Maybe it's dubstep in a way. I don't know. People still listen to that. Who knows? I thought this was a very interesting topic to jump onto. Keep reading. There's only a little bit left. But you are free to abandon yourself to actual life and to know that living in God is another name for this abandonment. For watching the snow and walking down the street, and you are free not only because you have once been a so whatter, but also because you have been living in this abandonment all the time, though without knowing it. If you had actually to get into it, to arrive at a state of abandonment where you had not previously been, you would not be free for this world. For this would involve going somewhere, arriving tomorrow at a place where you were not yesterday, and tomorrow never comes. You say you do not feel this abandonment right now. What you do expect to feel? What do you expect to feel? It is not a feeling. It is feeling. It is not a thought. It is thinking. If it were a particular thought or a feeling, there could be coming into it and going out of it. But God is one and all-inclusive, and here there can be neither coming nor going, inside or outside. More than this, the great abandonment of enlightenment does not depend even on feeling and thinking, consciousness or unconsciousness, living or dying. As the verse says, this you cannot describe, nor paint, nor yet admire, nor feel. It is your real self that has no hiding place. Destroy the universe, and it remains. No, you can't feel it, but then how can you know anything about it at all? Because you can use it and feel its use. This is told in another verse. Sudden the cold airs swing alone aloud. A verse of bells takes wings and flies with the cloud. A little bit of gobbledygook at the end there, right? But the lesson is important. The lesson remains the same. This is it. You're watching a podcast to watch a podcast, right? There's no point, there's no end to this, right? We're not just here to get the end. Maybe we are, maybe here to learn something, some insight into you. But take some time to enjoy what you have here in life, right? I think that's so often overlooked, is that, We're searching for this meaning, we're searching for these things, trying to put these implications on other things or metaphors on things and symbolism and stuff. When often, the whole point of a river flowing is just the fact that it's a river flowing. Simply because it springs out of the ground and it flows towards the sea doesn't necessarily have to have an impact on it. It's just a river that flows. And you're there to witness it. I think we're so scared of boredom. We're so scared of not being stimulated that we're really, really losing that ability to just be. And in boredom comes creativity. That's where all creativity really, at the end of the day, stems from. And it's a superpower if you can really harness it, because it allows you to create so much fun. It allows you to really be stimulated and allows your brain to create things for itself. Because while we're watching a river flow and we're just allowing that to just be, so many things stem from it. Not to say this is the point, don't get me confused here, but so many things tend to stem from it when you do things like that. And when we allow our minds this peace, this silence, this clarity, this boredom, for, probably got to, go an extended amount of time nowadays, right? Because we've got to allow for our brain to recover the dopamine detox, right, of what it's on now. So perhaps allow it to recover for a certain amount of days and reset itself to baseline. And then once you're there at baseline, you can start to really create. You can start to really bounce off of things. Your brain starts to think a bit more laterally. I'm so guilty of that too, is that sometimes I go out of my mind and I got to really come back down to reality and think, okay, what is it? Where am I? What am I doing? Let's just get rid of all this noise, come back down to reality. What am I doing here? Oh, where am I? I'm just here. There's bugs chirping or squeaking. What's the onomatopoeia for a bug? I don't know. There's birds chirping. I can hear cars in the distance. I can hear the waves at the beach crashing on the sand. I can hear people talking, children laughing, kids playing. I can feel the wind, a little bit uncomfortable on the ground. Maybe sitting on a twig or two, talking with you. I don't know, just start to look around your environment right now and just witness it for what it is. Witness it for all it is. Maybe start at one feeling to another, right? Maybe close your eyes. Maybe start with feeling. What can you feel? What are you sitting on? What's around you? How does that feel? Is it uncomfortable? Is it comfortable? Are you standing? Are you getting moved around in a train? Are you in a car? Is it bobbing along? Probably keep your eyes open if you're doing that. Can you feel the wind on your skin? Is there something that's, got some noise to it that's vibrating? Can you hear my voice? Is it loud in the car? Is it loud in your ears? Is that vibrating your eardrums? Can you feel that? And then move to, other senses. Maybe open your eyes, maybe look around. What is in front of you? What can you see? Who's in front of you? And expand out from there. And that's what it is. This is what it is. No Brahman, no Tao, no God. This is just the wind flowing through the grass. Just the clouds passing above me. if we can connect to that, then we're going to unlock that innate creativity within our brains, because then it allows our brains to be devoid of noise, devoid of distractions, devoid of all this sound and feeling and things that are just gripping at our psyche on a daily basis, particularly with your fucking phone. Use it as a tool. You can use it as a tool. It can be a very great thing, right? But oftentimes it's a distraction. And it's distracting you from being truly creative and allowing your brain to think laterally, to think expansively, to fill in the gaps. Come back down to baseline. I think that's what's so important about that little lesson there. Come back to baseline. I love you. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.